Well, hello everyone and welcome to yet another Discussions with Dolf. And today I find myself in the suburb of Akihabara, right in the heart of Tokyo, Japan. And this is significant for me for two reasons. Because firstly, I did a previous Discussions with Dolf from this very location. I suspect 10 or 12 years ago. I'd have to look it up to find out the exact date. But more particularly, I was first in Akihabara about 30 years ago. In fact, it was exactly 30 years ago. It was 1987, it's now 2017. And you've got to understand, from my perspective, I'd been studying Japanese for a long time. For 5 years at high school, I also studied it at university. I became quite good at it. So to come here and be able to speak the language was, of course, utterly magical. And in those days, Japan was at the forefront of all technological development, cameras, watches, electronic gear, you name it, including Walkman. And some of you will be too young to know what a Walkman is, but a Walkman is a gadget where you put a cassette in and it was portable. You had music on the go. Some of you don't even know what a cassette is, I know. But in those days, all these shops were full of the latest designs in Walkmans. How long could they play before they needed new batteries? How small were they? How compact? How light were they? All that sort of thing. It was a wild time. And I raised that for a reason, not just because I had a bit of a geeky bent back then already and I liked to know what the latest of technology was, but from a real estate point of view, it is particularly significant. Because when you think of it, back in 1987, before the smartphone was invented, before GPSs were prolific and all that sort of thing, there were many companies, hundreds of them around the world, spending billions of dollars developing all this technology. And all the money and effort and thinking power and careers that went into developing the Walkman, for instance, has all gone by the wayside, because other than for nostalgic reasons, who would want a Walkman? Even an iPod, I understand that they're sort of going out of fashion now. Who wants a dedicated music player when we all have a smartphone that has all the music we want on it? And in fact, the idea of having your music on a smartphone is disappearing, because nowadays most people use a streaming service such as Spotify or Google Music or iTunes Music or whatever. But the significant thing is all the development money that went into making these gadgets, fax machines, Walkman, CD players, it's all disappeared. And all the retail stores around me that you can see here that went into marketing and selling these things, those businesses have all died. But the real estate is still here, and the only difference you'll notice in Akihabara is what it is they're selling. There are more shops selling smartphones now than there are shops selling Walkman. Well, I haven't seen anyone selling even a single Walkman. But the point is, real estate has longevity in a way that the more exciting field of technology, where all the development is, doesn't match. And that is why one of the big advantages of real estate is that it keeps on going generation after generation. Not all real estate. I don't need anyone to write in and give me a specific example of a steel mill in Pennsylvania that got closed down. So how can I say that all real estate lasts forever? It's not all real estate. You have to pick your horse very carefully. But if you pick real estate in a very popular location like Akihabara, I can't imagine that this will ever go out of favor as a shopping district. It's just what they end up selling here is going to change. Anyway, it is a great thrill for me to be back here in some of my favorite haunts. There's a bit of nostalgia involved, I fully admit that. And as anyone who has the years clock up realizes, things change. And of course, we want to embrace change. You don't just want change, you want to rely on it, you want to expect it, because that is what keeps the world going. And in fact, we're all doing things that depend on change. Even the shooting of this video is so much easier now than it used to be. Now I can shoot it. I happen to have an iPhone, it could have been an Android. I shoot it on an iPhone, and from my iPhone I can upload it directly to YouTube. My account's already set up on the iPhone. I just hit upload to YouTube, and then I can send a link to people to say, hey, it's available. In days gone by, not too many years ago, we'd have to have tape in the camera. Mini DV is what I used. I used PAL instead of NTSC, if you know what that means. And then you'd have to take the tape, rewind it, play it back while you recorded it into the computer. So you now copied the information from the tape to the computer, and then you could edit it, and then you'd slowly upload it. But it was a much more cumbersome process requiring many kilograms of gear. And now you've got an iPhone which sits in your shirt pocket, assuming, of course, your shirt has a pocket. This one doesn't, but that's by the by. And anyway, it's all easier and better. But the thing I love about real estate is the real estate is still here. What they sell may change, but it's still here, generating rental income for its owners. Folks, that's all we've got time for. I've got plenty I want to do still here in Tokyo. So until next time, I want to wish you, as always, successful investing. Thank you very much.